Welcome back to another 240 video. I have a lot planned this time. The very first thing I want to do is mount all of this aero. We have a couple of things to choose from, but overall it's going to be the same exact aero as it was before the crash. The last video we left off with mounting the quarter glass and the windshield. And honestly, I didn't even know this was possible, but my window guy swapped out 240SX window trim and put it on the 180SX glass because the 180 glass had really bad trim on it. You can only get this trim with a used window. They don't sell it new. So luckily he was able to make this glass work and it looks incredible. So if you want some 240 glass with no trim, it's free. So let me know. And also this hood is up for grabs for free as well. So along with the aero bits that we're going to install, I also want to install this new hood and my old trunk. I just want to verify that this isn't tweaked because this trunk is way cleaner than the trunk that's on the car now. I used this trunk to align the quarter panel and such because it always fit great. But the deck lid is kind of wavy and yeah, you know, it's just beat. This one never really fit nicely and my worry is that it may have warped in the crash. And I also want to put on some of this trim because that really helps the car come alive. This just, you know, that's not pretty. So this one is actually the original to my car, but I think this is actually warped because the roof was so bent, if you guys remember. But luckily I have another set ready to go with uncracked seals. And then we'll also put on some of the window trim and the B-pillar trim. And I found a lot of this extra trim, actually I think all of this extra trim, from that black 240 hatch in the junkyard. I'll attach that video if you guys want to check it out. It was by far my best find ever in a junkyard. I even took the KA out of that car and put it in my 300ZX and it works perfectly. That car had under 80,000 miles and it was one of the most rotted S chassis I've ever seen. So I think the very first thing I want to do is test fit the skirt that goes on this side of the car, because as you guys know, this was caved in completely. Put new quarter panel, rockers, fender, firewall, you know, everything. Everything on that side of the car is new. So I want to make sure that the skirt fits because that will tell me that it's in the correct dimension. This one goes under the door. Okay, let that sit there. Close the door slowly. Oh man, that's gonna look great. That fitment is perfect. Let's check the front. Oh yeah. Yep, no hardware. Looks great. As for the other side, I don't know if I want to run my original white skirt or put the gray one. Unfortunately, the other white one completely vanished in the crash. Could not find it. I have no idea where it went, but I don't know. Maybe we'll keep that entire side white because everything else matches on this side. Might as well, right? But before I mount all of this aero on the car, I want to do something first. I need to roll this quarter panel because if you guys remember when I installed it, this is actually stock. And during my test drive, it was rubbing quite a bit on this tire. And honestly, I pulled the other side back in the day, so it has this flare to it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to match this again. Ideally, I would like it to not be flared, but I don't know how to unflare a quarter panel. I feel like once something like that is done, you kind of just have to run with it. Whenever you roll quarter panels on an S13, you always run the risk of them bubbling in. Basically, certain sections will fold in because this metal is so paper thin. But there are a few tricks to making that process go a little smoother, such as heating it up. So we'll test our luck. Then once we get around to mounting the rear section, I'm going to put my old lip back on. This is actually a G-Grow lip and the OEM Type X wing. Fran currently has my paint matched wing on her car, which is totally fine. I'll just run the blue one for now. Logan stopped by so he can help me out. He's gonna be driving the thing. We're heating this thing up just so it folds nicely. So we're gonna do 3 different increments. First, we're gonna start with a 3/8 extension. And I'm gonna move up to this. This is basically the equivalent of a 1/2 inch extension. It's a busted breaker bar. Then we'll move along to the jack handle. This is usually the final and last piece that you need to roll. All right, ready for round 1? Dude, that looks way better. Ooh. Yeah, is it hot? You stick a whole finger in there. Nice and smooth. No dents in the side. Next step, we're gonna take off the hatch. Oh my gosh, so much easier with 2 people.
Right?
Logan's swapping over the striker. Is that what you call that? I think so.
Yeah, hatch striker.
This one doesn't have hinges, so we're gonna go ahead and put these. I don't want to lose these in the grass.
Then when you put this panel on here.
Alright, let's see how this fits. I'll take it. Doesn't fit as good as the other one, but it definitely looks nicer. But we'll run it. Alright, next let's do this rear lip. Alright, looks like we need to drill a couple more holes into the new quarter panel to mount the rest of the lip. This will also be my first time jacking the car from this jack point. He's a bit tired. Well, hey, the car didn't collapse. Chrome Johnny. It's so green in here. Alright, we need to make some marks here, and you know what? While this wheel is off, we'll probably need to drill some holes on this side to mount the skirts as well. Whoop! There we go. This definitely needs some work. This lip is a pain to fit on the car. Need some double-sided tape in it. I don't know how to do this, but sounds like another day's problem. All right, while we have this wheel off, let's mount this skirt and drill the holes that we need. All right. See, this
fits so much better.
Right. This is nice quality stuff here. Looks like we already have holes in the skirts, so we utilize those. Does that line up to that hole? Oh, let's turn the wheel so we can see. We don't even need to turn the car on. Power steering. Which way? Left?
Right.
No,
left.
Luckily, not much work was needed on the front. These are just going right in. And the paint on these skirts is actually the same paint on the two-tone seafoam green. Oh. Oops. As I scratch it. So yeah, it's it's seafoam green, but the two-tone part, not the green part.
Kinda green.
Yeah, it's army green. Yeah, it's two-tone. It's two-tone. Moment of truth. Perfect. No! Kicked over my screw bin.
Again.
Again. Yeah, it's the second time now. Alright, gotta jack up this side now. Man, these just bow out so much on the corners. It bothers me so much. Look at this gap. Any recommendations to help make the fiberglass fit better?
Trim right here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Come on, dude.
You won't believe this, but I just I knocked it over again. I cannot be trusted around bins. Perfecto. I figured we might as well put the other chrome wheel on the back. That way we can have a matching pair. The hood fits great. Oh my goodness. All the body lines are pretty dang good. This needs a rubber grommet on the bottom. Don't have any rubbers in it. But if it did have one... Alright, now let's mount the front lip. This is the original lip to the car. And it's actually a lot more crispy looking than this one. The edges are kind of smoothed out, it looks like, on this one. So I might just put my OG back on. And it just fits so good. Last but not least, we'll mount our OEM Type X-Wing. Actually, we'll pop the trunk first. Luckily, this trunk is already drilled, so all the hard work is done. Got our nuts ready to go. Got these nicely drilled holes. They don't look all chopped up like most others. This thing is now officially fully kitted. I cannot wait to get the full effect when we put the trunk down. Man, this thing is crazy. It's like fully back at this point. Well, besides paint, of course, and the rest of the trim and all the interior. But the body wise, the body parts are on. I gotta drive this thing to really let it soak in. But first, I just remembered we're missing a mirror on this side. It's throwing off the whole car. Luckily, I have a spare. Again, this was from that black hatch in the junkyard. It actually still has the junkyard sticker on it. And we got the hardware on there ready to go. I don't know why, but these are always a pain to get off. I don't know why they put stickers on them to begin with. It's super annoying. Oh my gosh. Like, come on, man. The trim is going to have to wait until I find the specific hardware to mount that garnish. But for now, this definitely gets the job done. Man, it is so fun to drive this car. You know, you never really do understand how much you appreciate a windshield until you're driving a car without a windshield for so long and then you get a windshield. It's like night and day difference. You can actually enjoy driving it without worrying about the wind blowing your face off or wearing a helmet. But man, this thing looks so good. It drives amazing. I cannot believe how well all these panels fit. And the glass, just seeing the kit on there really just brings the car back to life completely. Man, this dent is so visible now. I really should have taken that out earlier. I don't know. We'll get to it. It's nothing major. It's just a little dent. Just a little dent, right? Another successful test drive in the books. I think it's time to step it up a notch and get this car aligned correctly. It's been bothering me driving it with the steering wheel so crooked, as well as having mismatched tires. So let's load up the car with some wheels and tires and get it aligned and get some fresh tires on it. 240 is becoming a work truck. All loaded up and ready to go. I had to put the new babies up front. Need a baby on board sticker now. This tint is so dark you can't even see it. All the tires loaded up in there. I can't believe this, but we're about to drive through the intersection where the crash happened. I was heading this way though, the opposite direction. And the lady turned left in this lane and smashed into me while I was going this way. Wow, here we are, 59 in North Ave. We survived it. Just made it to J-Lines, the alignment specialist. Well, it's in the air and it didn't collapse. That's a good sign. Starting to think these rear wheels are not going to fit. Look at that poke. Moment of truth.
We got all sorts of room on this side.
Yeah? A lot of room on that side?
Yeah. Well, you
yeah.
rolled it.
That one's pulled pretty good. This one, honestly, I think it could work.
The suspension's gonna settle.
So we got our readouts, and currently he's under the car adjusting camber, right?
I tried to do both.
So usually you would align the rear before you do the front. It looks like the front's gonna be all red, which I believe it. All right, we got the rear all wrapped up. Now he's gonna start working on the front. So everything is red. Our toe is so far off on either direction. Same with the caster. 3 degrees and 9 degrees. Pretty sure it should be around 7, right?
Yeah.
J-Line is not confident that the rack is centered, so we're not going to trust the steering wheel. You know, if the steering wheel is straight, we're going to go based on the rack. So what he's doing right now is
I'm gonna have to cut these off.
that's fine, dude. Do what you gotta do.
All right.
He's gonna measure the inner tie rods on each side, and that will verify that the rack is centered. Oh, crap. Almost shot me. Oh yeah, this side's way longer.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
75, so 20 mil.
20 mil difference?
Yeah. I'll take the steering wheel holder off, and then we'll center it
Okay.
first. It'll probably go left, I think.
Left? Alright.
Over there.
That's center? Holy crap. This is with the rack centered and the steering wheel realigned. We got one green number. Quick caster sweep. Verify our measurements here. Oh my gosh. 4.9 to 8.3. Honestly, I believe it. You can see how far back this wheel is. That's because I aligned it to fit better when the shock tower was folded in after the crash. That way I could drift it. Got the alignment all finished up. This is our final spec for the front. This may look bad because it's red, but these are the specs that we chose. And the toe is always going to change. I sat in the car while he adjusted the toe. That way it compensates for the weight. But we are having a slight issue. These front wheels are 17 by 9 plus 30. And apparently that's too weak because the wheel is hitting the coilover. So we need to run to the parts store and pick up some spacers really quick. But other than that, I cannot wait to drive this thing straight. It's gonna make a huge difference. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find any spacers. So I had to put my front wheels onto the back and then take the tires off the back wheels and then put them on my old wheels here. And then roll the fender because I was rubbing so bad. But yeah, this is how it looks now. It's nice and straight. The steering wheel's straight. Drives great. I'll be sure to tag Jesus's information if you guys need any alignment specialties. This is his Turbo Miata. The FD wing and RG2s. So good. Love this car. This is probably my favorite Miata ever. And Stevie's here.
Another car to fix?
Sí, señorita.
We have Chris here, which is CJ Media. A little behind the scenes action here. He's gonna be hanging out of this window, getting the most insane rolling shots ever. And we have Logan driving my mom's car.
What up?
And we got Nico behind us in the 180. Well, my 240 is on E, actually. Yeah, on the last dot. This is the first time I'll be filling up the car in over a year. It's pretty crazy to think about. The last time I filled it up was on our way back from the drift event when it was smashed. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to see the to-do list on here. So $569. How much is premium by you? So fun cruising with some S13s once again. So good to see this car outside. All right, our first fill up, 68 bucks. Woo, 13 gallons. This thing was super low.
Oh, yeah, that's like a whole
Oh my gosh.
You had like
It's running on
you had half a gallon of gas left.
Only it took $70.
only.
Oh, no, I mean like that's a lot of money.
Yeah. About to say only. All right, dude. Just kidding. We decided to go back to spot I test drove the car to. Some of you may recognize it, but we got all three of us here. These are seriously the most fun cars to drive. Also, when I fill up the gas, I usually give my fuel economy. So for this fill up on this car, it was, let's see. So this tank, we got 617 kilometers and it averaged at 45 kilometers. Now what is that to miles? Let's see. 45 km to miles. 27.9 miles to the gallon. That's honestly not bad at all. What the heck? I feel like that could be false. We'll see. The next fill up will really tell us how it's running. I could not be happier with how this car turned out. And I just want to thank everyone who's helped me along the way. And that goes for people who watch the videos, like the videos, and leave comments on the videos. This build would not be possible without you guys, so again, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just know you really can do anything you set your mind to. It may be difficult to stay on task, but the things I've learned that make it easier is making a list, putting your phone as far away from you as possible, limiting your time on social media, and don't compare yourself to other people. Just worry about you. Because at the end of the day, it's just you, you know? Find something you want to do, stick to it. That's the best way to find your purpose. It's the fastest way to find happiness in life. You don't need to have all the crazy tools. You don't need to have all the equipment. You don't need to have all the resources. Just start from square one and work your way up. It's like building blocks or a ladder. You have to take one step at a time, and the possibilities are endless. You can always add another step. Who knows what's next? There's only one way to find out. Just keep moving forward. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for another video. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to see more, and leave a comment. I do read through all the comments. I try my best to respond to as many as possible, but it's almost impossible to do. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.